working out to
It's
right now.
so good. I just pulled it up. I'm about to go. I literally am about to start doing push-ups in the next break.
Good.
About to be dialed.
Get those going.
Oh, yeah. Who do you think could do more push-ups, me or you?
Consecutively, I'm going to give it to you right now.
That's a lot.
I think it would be close, though. Like, what do you think your max is?
How many push-ups in a row could I do right now? Like good quality form push-ups? Probably 40. Not a lot.
Oh, yeah, you'd take I'm probably about 28, I'd say.
28's good.
You know, I haven't maxed out on push-ups in a while.
Push-up max today, boys. That's when you know you've dropped off a cliff. Hey, boys, we're going to go after it today. Heavy chest day, heavy tricep day. Guess what we're going to do? Push-ups.
Get the kids in the backyard. All right, rep test. Go.
Rip it out.
All right, let's go to the Higginbotham hotline at 8 a.m. Hour number 2 underway right now, Wednesday, March the 4th, right here on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Before we get into some of the things happening around the Kentucky Athletic Department, have you begun to decipher? You have your formula of teams that can win a national championship every year. Have you started to separate those in basketball just yet?
Yes, and first I thought I'd called into the Ryan Russillo show with all of you talking about how many push-ups you could do. I'm very proud of all of you. I would come in last. Every year, I guarantee, give me 5 teams, and one of them will win the national championship. This year, I feel pretty confident about my 5. There's really 6, but if I have to pick 5, I'll go Duke, Michigan, Arizona, UConn, and Florida.
See, I thought you were going to stop I thought you were going to stop at 3. That's the reason I was asking is it feels like it's a much smaller field of teams that can actually win it this year.
I think UConn and Florida can win it. I think Florida. It'll all come down to Xavier Lee. If he shoots the way he has since the Kentucky game, then I think Florida could be as good as anybody. I still like UConn. They've got guards, and in March guards play. I'd love to put Houston in, but I've got to pick 5. The only change I could see is a world where I moved Houston in there, but I feel very good about those 5. I think there's a huge drop-off after that tops. I think Duke, Michigan, Arizona is Tier 1. Tier 2 is Florida, UConn, Houston, and then I think it drops off the floor. And there's at that point, there are a lot of teams that are pretty good, but none that I think could win a title. So but I do think this March is the most susceptible March to craziness on second round Sweet 16 Elite 8 that we've ever had. You probably won't see a ton of first round upsets, but that second round, I think, has a chance to be as good as it's ever been in college basketball.
Right now, I feel like every year, and it's fair or unfair, you might be better to assess it than even us. But I feel like the SEC in the regular season gets really built up. And while the non-conference wasn't quite as good for the SEC as it was the year before, still a lot of impressive victories for SEC teams. Do you think the SEC is on par with where they were last year, or are they a little less than? Are they maybe a sleeper? How do you feel?
Not quite as good because last year you had, I think, 5 or 6 teams at the top that all could make a run to the Final Four. This year, I really think there's only 3, but really only one really good team is Florida. But I think Alabama and Arkansas could make a run if they got the right draw. But I do think where the SEC is the best in the country are teams 4 through 12. There's no league where 4 through 12 is as good as the SEC. I think the Big 12 is better at the top. The Big 12 has probably 5 teams that could make the Final Four, and the SEC does not. But, think about, say, Auburn. Auburn is sitting, I think, in 11th place in the SEC. Auburn, now they can be bad, but when they're good, they can be really good. And there's no other league in the country that can touch an 11th place Auburn team, a 10th place Texas. Like, that's just, no other league has that. So what you end up with is a league where you can have a lot of upsets during the regular season. But the bottom is pretty bad, the bottom 4 teams. And last year, I think the SEC, outside of South Carolina, everyone was good. That's probably not true this year.
Matt Jones joining us on the Higginbotham hotline. Meant to bring him on to talk Kentucky and Kentucky Athletic Department, but obviously want to talk college hoops anytime we can with Matt. So let's go there now. Mitch Barnhart is going to step down. He will retire. This is just after a year after hiring a new basketball coach, months after hiring a new football coach. Take us a little bit further into the timing of this and maybe how much strategy, how much of this has been known for any amount of time.
Well, let's start with, and I think Mitch Barnhart has been a great AD, and I think he's a good man, et cetera. You always have to look at this initially with the financial part. Starting January 1st, a provision in Mitch Barnhart's contract kicked in that allowed him to have an $800,000 a year advisory job for the 5 years after he retired. That provision did not kick in until January 1st. So I've been predicting for months that he was going to retire after January 1st. They actually have now upped that to $950,000 a year. So he's basically getting $950,000 a year to advise. I think the timing was as soon as that kicked in, he was going to do it. Now, I also think there's a side part of this that's a little complicated but interesting. The SEC and the Big Ten came out, as you know, last week and basically said, hey, we disagree with all the other conferences about pooling our media share rights and sharing it amongst the whole country. For something very similar to the model that the Big 12 and the ACC had talked about. He had been kind of for the SCORE Act, what Cody Campbell had pushed. And now the SEC has taken the opposite stance. And I thought that was interesting because Mitch had kind of been in the forefront, along with Greg Sankey, of coming up with the SEC's proposal. And I think now the SEC's gone in a different way. And so part of it is Mitch, in his mind, felt like he needed to transition college athletics into the next generation, and then he was going to step away. I think what he's realized is that's not going to happen as quickly as maybe he thought it was. That's probably going to drag on for another year or two, and I don't think he wants to do that, and I think that's why he's stepping away, and he's letting whoever the new AD is at UK sort of stake out Kentucky's position, because I think he wasn't. This is just my take on it. I think he was a little in a different spot than maybe some of the other SEC folks on it, and it seemed like a good time for him to transition out.
Makes perfect sense. And when you can find $1 million a year thereabouts consulting job for us, just let us know. Happy to.
Oh, I'm with you. I think it's, and what's funny is we found out late yesterday, it's not even in athletics. Like his $1 million a year job is going to be helping create a workforce program to get students jobs in sports. So, I mean, he's basically getting $1 million a year to join the faculty, which I don't know that that's ever happened for any coach.
Well, I'm just going to try to explore opportunities in the NIL era for those athletes, maybe just two that I can think of off the top of my head, Cole and myself. We'd be happy to engage in a consulting role like that, but literally 1 day a week, tops, maybe 2 hours for that day is about, I think, what the job responsibilities would require. Looking at Kentucky's athletic department in general, are things in a good spot right now for them? It seems like they're raising a bunch of money for football. We know that basketball is heavily compensated. So where are things right now at Kentucky's athletic department?
Well, I mean, I think Mitch leaves it a lot better than it was when he got there. I mean, if you go back 24 years, Kentucky was essentially a basketball-only school. I mean, they weren't really good at any other sport. And as a matter of fact, they were really bad at most sports. And he leaves, and while football was not great the last couple of years, you've hired Will Stein, there's excitement there. Women's basketball is a top 15 program. Baseball's gone to the College World Series. Softball's gone to the College World Series. Track's, competed for national titles. So they've been really good. Volleyball's won a national title. None of that was true before Mitch. So I think he's done a great job. Where I think he has made mistakes is he is behind on the NIL era. He didn't agree with it. He fought it. He didn't want this to happen. And it's happened. And I give him some credit. He adjusted a little bit to it, but it's still not his comfort zone. He's an old school athletics guy. And I've always thought it was a little bit of an oil and water mix in this new era. And I think Kentucky now needs to get someone who just embraces it. At the end of the day, I look around college athletics, football and basketball, and here's what I see. You all may disagree, but I bet you don't. The coaches that have said, these are the rules, I'm going to make it work. Whether I like it or not doesn't matter. I'm making it work. That's who's succeeding. In college basketball, it's obvious. The good coaches are the young ones. John Shire, Dusty May, Todd Golden. These young guys are killing it because they're just embracing it and moving forward. The guys, the Dabos, who are like, I don't like this, they're struggling. And I think the same thing is going to be like that with the athletic departments. If you are trying to hold on to a system that's gone, you're getting past. And I think Mitch had a little bit of that in him. And so I think it will be good for UK, as good as he's done. And I think Mitch has been great. It was time for UK to go in a different it'll be interesting to see. Do they hire within and get one of Mitch's many people out there he's placed in athletics, or do they go a different direction? And Mitch is staying on till June 30th, and I don't think UK will make a decision until a lot closer to then. So we'll probably be a while before we know what they do.
Matt Jones joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline, talking Kentucky Athletic Department with their athletic director, Mitch Barnhart, now set to retire. What does this mean for the football program and a hire that was made for a football coach whose AD steps away after just a few months? Are you nervous about that? Do you feel good, okay about that?
No. I mean, look, Will Stein was a pretty much universally acclaimed choice for Kentucky fans. I mean, he's from the state. He's from the city of Lexington. I think people are all behind him. I think where there will be much more pressure is on the basketball side. You know, Mark Pope's going to be back next year, pretty much no matter what. But next year's going to be a huge year for Mark Pope. He can't have a mediocre year. It's got to be good. So the pressure on the new AD will be, what do you do with basketball? Football, I think people feel like it's in a good spot. I think they feel like they're getting the resources they need. I actually think there's a lot of optimism around UK football. It reminds me of 6 or 8 years ago with Mark Stoops. Basketball, the optimism is not quite as strong. And I think the hard thing for the new AD is going to be, what if you come in and Mark Pope struggles next year and you've got to make a decision about Pope's future in your first year on the job? That'll be the tough part about the job. But I think with football, having a new AD with a new coach, I mean, I think a new AD probably would have hired Will Stein anyway. So I don't think that part will be difficult for whoever follows him.
I do have one more for you, and that is just what you make of the Mark Stoops hire at Texas.
Not surprising to me. I mean, I know Sarkisian, I thought as soon as he left that he would be with either Kirby Smart or Steve Sarkisian. Both of them are people that Mark really likes and respects. And every time Kentucky plays one of those two teams, the coach does nothing but praise Mark Stoops. And over the years, even though he never beat him, nobody played Kirby better, and Kentucky should have beaten Steve Sarkisian this year. They had him beat and just couldn't get it in from the 1-yard line. So I was not surprised. I think he'll do a good job. I think Mark will be a head coach again somewhere.
Really?
I do, yeah, because there are many reasons, but I just think he'll do a short-term job somewhere else. But I also think he's getting a good chunk of money from Kentucky, and a couple years at Texas makes sense to me. You know, Bob Stoops was fine walking away, but remember, these Stoops guys all have the itch. He still went and coached the UFL or whatever, XFL, whatever league he went to. I think what this will do is give Mark the same flexibility to go coach somewhere. It won't matter so much the level, but Mark has always said, I'm going to walk away young. I can't see it, man. He loves it. He loves the juice of it. And I would be surprised if you don't see him in a head coach role again. But it wouldn't shock me if it was at a smaller level, kind of like his brother did, maybe not XFL, UFL, but like a mid-major kind of school.
Sure. That's interesting stuff. Matt, thank you so much for hopping on, man. Really do appreciate it. And I look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thank you, guys. Always great to be on.
There you go. Matt Jones at KY Sports Radio. You can hear him all over the state of Kentucky, obviously online as well. Does a great job mornings talking all sports and other things as well. But we have him on to talk Kentucky athletics and college basketball and got us updated on a few things there. You think Stoops coaches again?
I have a hard time envisioning that. I think he's made so much money.
That's what I thought.
He has made a lot of money. and more than just in coaching. I mean, his bourbon, a lot of other business tentacles there in the Kentucky area. I think you just lean into that.
Doesn't feel like he needs it. But
He
if
ain't hurting.
if he can get into a role like he's in now, I could see him staying with that for a while, be around the game, not have to go on the road recruiting. Not
I
as
think
much
we all would do
responsibility.
that. I mean, like, hey, I would go consult right now. And kind of, as long as I can kind of do it from a distance, and now with how they share tape and can send it from one place to the other, like you can
Right.
still watch tape from your living room. Like it
Sure.
would just be fun to stay in it.
For sure. All right, so that's kind of a little bit of a wrap on Kentucky and what's happening there. There are a few other coaching hires that I find very interesting the last couple of days in college football. We'll update you on a couple of those. Before we do that, Greg, tell our listeners about Canty.
Well, Canty can fix it. That's for sure. Cantey. They've always done a great job, and I've always been grateful to the experience I've had when working with Canty. They are the foundation experts here in the community. And with the wet weather coming, we got some rain coming this weekend. We know that wet, rainy season's going to get here. And at that point, you might start discovering some leaks in your basement, in your foundation, in your crawl space. Is your basement damp? Is it musty? Well, water intrusion can lead to major issues, not just foundation damage, but it can lead to mold. It can lead to allergies. It can obviously ruin your belongings as well. And Canty Foundation Specialists can help you with that. They are the experts in basement waterproofing. They come out, do a free inspection for water damage or any other foundation issues that you might have. So take a look and make sure that no problems exist underneath your home this weekend when the rain starts rolling through. Canty Foundations, they offer free inspections and estimates, and their work is backed by lifetime transferable warranties. Call them today at 205-509-3991 or visit Canty Can Fix It. That's Cantey, canfixit.com.
All right, when we come back, other coaching hires around the SEC. That and more next right here on Jocks. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. A couple of the college coaching hires I want to get to, but don't forget, you can listen online, jocksfm.com. The app is in your app store, iPhone, Android. You can download that for free. Listen on the go. All the podcasts are always going to be there online and on the app also. If you miss Ryan Silverfield, Arkansas head football coach earlier today, you can go get caught up on that one. You can watch us live on YouTube every day. Just search WJOX or Jocks945. Watch the show live or go back and watch the show there. And don't forget, you can always tell your home smart speaker to enable the Jock skill.
Bill Smith Buick GMC's done it again. They won another Dealer of the Year award. That makes it 6 in a row. Thank you to Alabama for making them number one again. Thank you to the Southeast for making them number one again. The beauty of their business is it's not exclusively in the Southeast. They've delivered everywhere from Colorado to Washington, D.C. in the last couple months. I mean, people continue to flock to the Dealer of the Year, and that's not just a regional award. That's a national award. They're the national champions of GMC dealers, and they've done it 9 times in their tenure. It's incredible to see what Andy Cole and Jonathan Yeager have done with their leadership there at Bill Smith Buick GMC. And the deals just continue to be incredible. Like a GMC Sierra 1500 SLT, $67,675 is the list price. You can take $14,500 off that sticker. You get it for just over $53,000. It's deals like that that keep people coming back. That's why 75% of their business is repeat customers. That's because you have a better experience when you shop with Bill Smith. Take the short drive to Coleman. You'll be glad you did. You can also shop online, have it delivered right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com.
All right, a couple other coaching hires, GMAC, that I wanted to get to. We mentioned Mark Stoops going to join the staff at Texas. Mississippi State hiring Philip Montgomery as their new wide receiver coach and associate head coach for offense. That is a strong offensive mind that you're bringing into a staff that's already fairly prolific on the offensive side of the football. So that's a good hire from Jeff Levy. You get some head coaching experience in there, a lot of coordinator experience in there, and somebody that's got a lot of veteran presence that can just help you sort of manage things around your program.
And what do you make of Mississippi State this year?
Concerned.
Fair. But Levy and I think Montgomery, coming from the same tree, some familiarity there will be helpful. And I think it's fair to be concerned. But then again, were you concerned about them last year?
In a different way. I'm not concerned about them of not being able to coach, not having the brain power to put together plays, being able to call plays. I'm concerned about them being able to last the season. With the style defense they're now going to play and the style offense that they play, I'm concerned about that.
Fair.
The snap count, the wear and tear is just by default going to be greater than everybody else in the league.
Yes.
Everyone else in the league. I'm not sure who's going to be closer. When you're talking about a reckless, abandoned style of defense and a foot on the gas almost all the time offense, you better have numbers, Greg.
Yeah.
And I don't think they do. Now, that's not pointing the finger at Mississippi State. Almost nobody has numbers to be able to operate that way.
No.
On the flip side, I do know some of the advantages that it gives you. What have we been saying about these D coordinators nowadays? What have we been saying about style of defense these days? It's turned into full attack mode. Like, we have flipped this script on, okay, here's our offense.
Yeah.
We're going to present it to you with all these options and all these different things we can do. We can hand it off. We can pull it. The quarterback can run it. He can throw the slant. He can run out wide and throw the pop pass. He can throw the north and south pop pass. We've got all these different option routes. Our receiver can run 7 routes on every play, depending on how the coverage and the leverage is. And I think the defense coordinators are sick of it. And they're just saying, you know what, man, we're coming after you because we don't think your quarterback can handle it.
Yeah.
And we definitely don't think you can block it because almost nobody can do that either. So get your 40-yard play here. Get your 60-yard play there. We're going to get ours back. And we're not going to sit there and wait for one of our guys to make a tackle on a 6-yard gain. We're going to get some TFLs. We're going to get some sacks. We're going to get some tip balls. Those are going to turn into turnovers. We're taking ours back. And I think that's where defense is this day and age. So the actual style of it doesn't bother me. It just bothers me with the style of offense you're going to pair it with. And I know people will counter that and say, but they run the ball first. That's fine. You still go fast. You go fast. And it's a high snap count. And it'll now be a high snap count with a high-risk defense that is only going to put more and more pressure physically. The toll on your team will be greater because of how you're going to operate, and that worries me.
That's fair. And I think the reason why people are adjusting to that style of defense is, well, we've seen it there's different trains of thought. Attack mode, where, hey, all we want to do is create one negative play, and we feel like that one negative play will get you out of rhythm on that drive, and that'll kill your drive.
Right.
Or we want to force a turnover, steal a possession. Okay, so like that's the attack mode philosophy. There's also the philosophy that's been utilized where, hey, we are going to just kind of keep the ball in front of us. We're not going to get got by one big shot over the top. We're going to be uber soft in coverage. We're going to keep everything in front of you. And we believe that if you snap the ball 15 times on a drive, you're going to screw up one of those, and we're going to be all right. And then all of a sudden you're going to settle for a field goal or you'll have to punt because we don't think you can avoid mistakes for 15 plays en route to the end zone. And we'll just play really good red zone defense. So there's two different philosophies here. Yeah. I don't have a problem with either one. I'd be mindful of, if you are an attacking group, getting got by the guillotine. I don't like getting got by the guillotine. I like getting got by paper cuts. If you're going to get me, you better do it over the course of time. So I'm great with attacking, but you better be really, really sound on the back end and not give up big plays.
Right. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of how that part plays out for them, because I look at it as some positives, but also it brings extra concerns with some of those positives. I'll tell you another hire that I absolutely love. Pete Thamel reporting yesterday that Miami is going to hire Army's Mike Vitti as their new tight end coach. He was associate head coach and offensive line coach at Army. He's been on the staff for 10 years. He played fullback, A-back, B-back, whatever you want to call it at Army. The dude is this is a guy, if you don't know about Mike Vitti, that served multiple tours after he finished playing football at Army, and then started a foundation with a race for his fallen soldiers that he served with. And if I'm not mistaken, the dude ran across the country. Like, he started at the Statue of Liberty and ended in San Diego to raise money for essentially his teammates that had fallen victim in combat. The guy is a complete badass. This is one of the best hires that I can remember in a long time in college football. Because when you talk about mentality, when you talk about attitude, you talk about demeanor of what Mario wants to be and does, and you add a guy like Mike Vitti to it, it's an absolutely perfect fit. So it's one that not a lot of people, I think, know. I met Mike when we had Army LSU a couple years ago. And I remember I asked their head coach about him. He told me about him, and I went and found him immediately on the field when they came out, and he and I talked for like 45 minutes. And then we've stayed in contact since. And then I got to learn his story from other people and then asked him about it. He's not going to tell you about it because he's not that kind of guy. He's not going to brag about, raising money for fallen soldiers by jogging across the country. That's not who he is. But he is just awesome. It's the only way I know how to describe it. And it is a massive hire from Mario, in my opinion. I think it's absolutely huge, and it is an absolute home run.
All I know, and I just remember Mike Vitti as a player, and I remember you talking to him and doing some stuff with him. But I think the first Army-Navy game that I went to, no, he graduated in 2008, so that wouldn't time up. I don't remember when I first was introduced to Mike Vitti and his story or whatnot, but he is a stud, just a complete and bona fide stud, and a guy that you just absolutely have to love. So pretty cool. The guy earned 4 varsity letters, team captain, regimental commander during his senior year, and he's a fullback. I mean, what kind of mentality is always going to lead for Mario? Physical, bruising, hard-nosed, all that stuff. And that to me is like Mike Vitti to a T.
Yeah, and I had it backwards. So he started his walk in San Francisco, and he ended it at the Army-Navy game in New York.
Yeah.
And it was 4,414 miles. He vowed to walk 1 kilometer for every soldier lost on his tour that he served in Afghanistan. So if you're wondering what kind of human Mario just got on his staff, there you go. And I don't know what else you need to know. Guy's incredible. And I think it's great for Mario. I hate the fact that Army loses him because it's one of their own, and I thought it was great to have him on staff. He's coached tight ends, running backs, and offensive line, by the way. So, and played fullback.
But at Army, those are all three kind of the same positions.
Fair.
they all go together.
That's totally fair. Which the tight end they had when they played LSU, yeah, I don't know what happened to him, but he had a really good chance to play in the NFL. He was a really good tight end. I didn't keep up with where he went or what he did, but he's just a great. We talk about fit sometimes and it gets overused, whatever. This is a great fit for Mario based on who he is, and what he wants his program to be. You bring a guy like this in, it's a win for your program either way. All right, more college football next on Mac and Cube in the morning. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in. 800-239-WJOX. We mentioned a story about Floyd Mayweather last week that we're going to get Mayweather-Pacquiao again. That took us into a conversation of things that we do not need more of in sports, then a conversation of things we wish we had more of in sports. Apparently, we're going to get a lot more Floyd Mayweather in the coming months, years.
You pumped?
Must be running low on funds.
The way he spends,
No, it'd be impossible to wonder how he's not.
It's definitely makes sense.
But per Ring Magazine, Floyd Mayweather will face Greek kickboxer and martial artist Mike Zambidis in an exhibition fight in June in Athens, Greece. His Pacquiao fight is going to be September 19th in Vegas.
I'm just not buying these things anymore.
Well, you're not going to have to buy the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight because it's on Netflix. Everybody got big mad at us for talking about this, saying, you waste your money on that. It's on Netflix. You'll probably already have it.
I'm
going
to unsubscribe from Netflix before that fight.
Good.
And then come back right afterwards.
I'm sure it'll be worth your while.
I'm sure it'll be really easy to do.
I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just collecting checks. We don't have enough fights going on.
You think?
We just got to get people in front of cameras and let them duke it out.
Well, name me a real heavyweight right now that you're interested in seeing.
Not.
Okay.
None.
Done. Thank you.
Don't have them.
That's it.
We thought the heavyweight division was in trouble like 8-10 years ago. I don't think it ever been in anywhere near as bad a shape as it is right now.
You don't like it?
It's just like you said. Tell me who you're excited about.
Nobody. Unfortunately, I like boxing.
Not a single one. So I enjoy it as well, but just don't think that there's a lot of people out there that people look at it and see, okay, I got to go watch him fight. There is one thing that happened yesterday that I wanted you guys to see. A graphic that came out. We'll talk about that graphic a little bit later, but it has to do with the transfer portal at an age that you will not believe. Drew Butler joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline to talk college football, specifically Georgia football. One team, Drew, earlier this week that Greg McElroy said he believes can go 7-5 this year. Wanted to have you on to discuss that and tell me if you thought it was at all possible Georgia finds a way to finish 7-5.
Did Greg really say that? He thinks Georgia can go 7-5 in 2026, or are you guys just pulling my chain to start the interview off?
I think every team can go 7-5. That's
okay.
the genesis of the
fair.
conversation. It really has nothing to do with Georgia as much as it does with everyone's floor being lower.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally agree with that. I think that's definitely a fair assessment, and I would start with a team that's kind of dominated the headlines throughout the entire offseason for obvious reasons, and that would be LSU. You know, I know everybody's excited for Lane Kiffin to be down there and the money that they've invested in NIL and the facilities and bringing Lane Kiffin and the coaching staff. But that's a team that I've looked at, Greg and Cole, and said, you know, I just don't know if they're going to be able to reach the kind of success that the money would want them to be able to reach in year one of Lane Kiffin. And look, as it pertains to Georgia, you look up and down the roster, I think they're going to be pretty solid on both the offensive and defensive line. You got a ton of question marks at wide receiver. You lost a lot of experience, and those guys flashed at the NFL Combine this past weekend. But starting with the quarterback and Gunnar Stockton and of course, having Kirby Smart there and the continuity with Mike Bobo at the offensive coordinator position, I just think Georgia, you could say they overachieved in 2025, back-to-back SEC champions. But 2026, guys, is a season upcoming that a lot of people close to the Georgia program have circled to say this could be one of those special years in Athens. And I think with Kirby Smart and with the roster that they've built, especially with the retention that they've been able to keep, Georgia, you can feel good if you're a Dogs fan that they'll have a chance to win every single Saturday that they suit up. But I guess that's a long way of answering that I would generally agree with you, Greg, that the floor is lower for just about every team in the SEC coming up in 2026.
What are the blind spots that we might have when evaluating Georgia this year? Because it's hard to ever find flaws. They're always so dang good. And then last year you watch them, it's like, oh, the O-line had some ups and downs. The wide receivers were much better than I thought. There were some ups and downs in the secondary. Didn't anticipate that. So what are some of the things that you think Kirby Smart will be trying to figure out here in spring?
You know, I would say one of the things that's off the field that you're not going to be able to really tap into until somebody steps up is leadership. You know, Gunnar Stockton's obviously the leader of this football team on the offensive side, but when you look at the defensive side of the ball, it seems like over the past couple of years, it's taken 3, 4, 5 weeks for that defensive leader to step up and to kind of get tapped into that role from a fan base perspective, from a media perspective, and then the coaches start talking about him. And I feel like that's when teams really start to find their identity. So off the field, Greg, I would say on the defensive side, who is that big-time leader going to be to galvanize all 11 guys each and every Saturday? So that's what I would look like on the defensive side of the ball. And then going back to the wide receiver position, I mean, there are a lot of young guys that have to step up. Georgia did not necessarily go heavy into the transfer portal like they did a year ago to address that skill position. So can Taylor stay healthy? You know, he's a guy that's already starting to make a lot of waves in headlines, and Dylan Bell caught himself at the combine saying this guy is a true 5-star. He's doing really special stuff. And he stopped. He said, Coach Smart's going to get mad at me if I continue to talk about how special this kid can be. Now it's up to him to go out and prove it on the field. It was great that Georgia was able to keep Nate Frazier. You know, Ohio State put a very, very hard press on him late in the transfer portal to try to sway him to go to Columbus. But you've got that core group of guys at quarterback, at running back. I feel like the offensive line is going to be in a good position. So wide receiver is the blind spot for Georgia in a big way.
Drew Butler joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline of the Punt and Pass podcast. I think that front seven gets back to being as close to as we've seen it to dominant in the last 5 or 6 years. I think we finally have some of the young guys that are next in line that we've actually seen, that have flashed, that have shown that they could be big-time players in the SEC. Where are you on, and I'm actually just talking like the D line. I know there's a lot going at linebacker, but where do you sort of look at this defensive line / front seven comparing to some of the others we've seen since that dominant national championship team that may have been one of the best ever?
Yeah, I mean, when you turn on the tape from 2021 and 2022, of course, when Georgia had some of the best defenses historically in college football, they could get after the quarterback by rushing 4. And I mean, that just makes everybody so much better, especially in the second level of the defense. But the ability to rotate guys in and out on the front 4 specifically and be able to get home and wreak havoc in the pocket, that is something that Georgia fans just have not been seeing the past couple of years. And is it a proliferation of talent because of a new era of college football? It might be, but when you look back at those guys who are so dominant on those teams, Cole, they're producing on Sundays. So who's going to step up for Georgia on that front seven to not only, you know, cause pressure, but get the quarterback on the ground, get those TFLs in the backfield? That to me is something that I think Georgia fans want to see week in and week out. And it took a while this past season for Georgia's defense to really get those high pressure rates and get sacks and get tackles for loss. Can they start out fast? I think it's something that they addressed in the offseason. Their new outside linebackers coach, who comes from West Virginia, he was at Arkansas State. They had a top 10 sack rate in the nation last year. He's going to be able to really provide the coaching and the preparation to say, this is how we're going to get after the quarterback. And I think that's when Georgia's defense really takes on an identity of being game wreckers, and hopefully they can get back to that in 2026.
When you look at Gunnar Stockton, I think he kind of is what he is. I don't think he has got like this absurdly high ceiling, but he's very, very steady. He's very, very rock solid. He's a great leader. He's tough as nails. I do get a little concerned about sometimes the hits he takes and the way he puts his body on the line. All it takes is just one hit and your season changes drastically. So what kind of growth is to be expected from him in year number 2 as a full-time starter?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would totally agree with everything that you said right there in regards to evaluating Gunnar Stockton. How does he take the next step? I think, Greg, he did a really good job in 2025 of sort of being a chameleon. And when I say that, I mean he was adjusting what he did week in and week out to what was needed in game. Take that Tennessee game, take that Ole Miss game where Georgia's getting into shootouts and they're scoring 40-plus points. Gunnar Stockton can do that. And then you take that Auburn game where they're down and they're having to grind it out and run the football and really kind of play clock management. Gunnar can do that. So what does he need to do? I think, one, everybody loves to play for Gunnar Stockton. He is a true leader. There's no question about it. You can sense it in the week during preparation and then on Saturdays during game time. But he's got to figure out ways to get more explosive chunk plays, and not 10 to 15-yard plays, but I would say 25-plus yard chunk plays down the field that swing the momentum of a game, that beat you up in field position. I think Gunnar Stockton with the deep ball and being able to maybe not put the ball in trouble's way when you're taking those deep shots is one that is going to just elevate his style of play. And again, get those skill position guys involved in the game early. I think that's dependent on how he does throughout the spring and throughout fall camp. And then will Coach Mike Bobo be able to draw some stuff up for Gunner to push the ball down the field to make Georgia's offense more explosive? That's one thing that I think he can definitely take a step forward with in 2026.
Drew Butler of the Punt and Pass podcast joining us on the Higginbotham hotline. You heard Greg kind of reference, and there was sarcasm earlier with the 7-5 thing with Georgia to an extent, but are there teams maybe in that middle of the pack, which feels like it's jammed right now in the SEC, the teams that could go to 9 wins, but also could end up with 4 or 5 wins? It feels like 80% of the league. Is there a team or 2 or 3 that you feel very confident in could be on the positive end of that's sort of viewed in the middle of the pack of the league right now?
Yeah, one team that I've circled that just absolutely has no choice but to have a good season are the South Carolina Gamecocks. I mean, Coach Beamer's got to put something special together in 2026, or it seems like his time in Columbia might be coming to an end. And I feel like they are such a hot and cold team. They're super streaky. 2 seasons ago, they finished the season so well. There was a case being made for them to maybe slide into the college football playoff. And then last year, for whatever reason, guys, they just could not find any consistency. So South Carolina is a team that I think could have a brighter path to a favorable 2026 than not. And then, you know what? Another one, I'm interested to see how Coach John Summerall does in his first season in Gainesville. I know they're going to have a lot of turnover, especially starting with the quarterback position. What are the Florida Gators going to look like? I think creating that culture, which is so desperately needed down there in Gainesville, is step number 1 for Coach Summerall. He's been successful everywhere he's been. Those are 2 teams that I'm looking at, guys. And another one, I like Alex Golish. I really do. I'm excited for him at Auburn. Again, going back to that culture change, Auburn desperately wants to get back in the mix. So, Cole, I think the Auburn Tigers have an ability to cause some noise in 2026 in Alex Golish's first year there on the Plains.
Drew, we appreciate the time, man. Great stuff as always. Enjoy catching up with you. Let's do it again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
There you go. Drew Butler of the Punt and Pass podcast. Find him on Twitter at Drew Butler. Over the last month or so, where has your level of confidence gone with Auburn? Might be good reasons, may not be good reasons, but we'll have that conversation next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We have a SEC quarterback rankings list that I want to get to in just a moment. Limited time in this segment, so I don't want to spend a ton of it there. I mentioned earlier in the show that we were kind of done talking college basketball. Before we go further into one other college basketball item, Greg, tell our listeners about Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's been my go-to for a very long time, and I've always appreciated the experience I have when I walk in the door. I mean, they have pros, and they've become my friends. I mean, they've helped point me in the right direction. Several countless pieces that I've purchased from Bromberg's that I know are going to stand the test of time because they do a great job with their purchasing. All their stuff's beautiful. All of it is high quality as well. And they also do a terrific job with your wedding registry. And if you are recently engaged and you're starting to put together the process of planning your wedding, I know that's stressful. Just take one of those things off your list and just go and get things taken care of at Bromberg's with your wedding registry. Like, you don't have to worry about it. They have the experienced bridal consultants that'll help you pick everything you need from china to crystal to silverware and casual pieces as well. And they've been around for nearly 200 years. So you can start this new chapter with the experts who know registries best. Plus, you can enjoy 20% off wedding bands and special pricing on wedding party gifts. So register online at brombergsbride.com or visit Bromberg's in Mountain Brook or at the Summit.
There are a lot of things that happen inside stadiums, Greg, that are good, that go kind of unspoken, unheard of, not really discussed. If you missed it last night, and a lot of you probably did, Kansas lost a basketball game to Arizona State, 70-10. Kansas was ranked 14th at the time. It's back-to-back home wins against top 25 opponents for Arizona State for the first time since the 1920 season. Took a 3-0 lead in the first 33 seconds of the game and then never trailed or were tied for the rest of the game. Kansas, 29% on field goals, program's worst in a game since March 22nd, 2021. Now, Bill Self was ejected during this game after arguing an offensive foul call against Darren Peterson with 6:07 left in the first half. Before we go into further why we're discussing this, this is how that sounded.
And now we've got a whistle and a foul. And that's going the other way. Oh, wow. It's on Peterson, who got tangled up with Bryce Ford. First on Peterson, fourth team foul. And Bill Self is hot. And now Bill Self has been teed up and I believe ejected from the game. There has been an ejection. Doug Sermon's pointed towards the locker room.
Unbelievable.
I believe a double technical and an ejection of Kansas head coach Bill Self.
Now, I don't know if it went further and Dave pointed out what happened when he was ejected. We just shared the video from Chris Cartman from Mac and Cube. One of the most amazing in-arena moments I've seen in a long time. By the way, Kansas is 0-5 all-time at Arizona State.
Can't go to the desert.
You don't just walk in
And just walk
to the
into
Devil's
desert.
Arena.
Wells Fargo Center.
Same thing. Some people at other banks may agree with that statement.
Whoa.
Saying.
Free plug.
As Bill Self is being ejected, walking off the court, they hit him with the smoke blasters on his way out of the tunnel that the team would run onto the court with. Completely incredible moment there. Whoever came up with that, thought of that, because I imagine that had to be kind of a last-minute decision.
It was definitely a split-second decision.
You're like, hold on.
Do it.
Hit the smoke.
Do
Hit
it.
the smoke because he's going out. Bill Self ejected walking out of the arena.
But if you're going to have an exit, you
Kudos
can also,
to you, sir.
the exit and entrance both have to be awesome.
And it's got the little lights, too, like the red lights, that the little light bars are flashing as he's walking out. Good job.
What if the official pointed you in the wrong direction of the locker room? What if he pointed to the wrong locker room and you got to walk all the way around? Do you have to walk out of the tunnel the official points to?
If he did, I'd hope they hit the smoke again when he came back up.
Why hit the smoke again? Walk back out. Hang on. He's got to wait before he walks to the tunnel. They got to take the smoke machines down to the other tunnel and walk it as he walks out.
Unbelievable moment. That's at our Twitter feed if you want to go watch that. Had to bring that one up as Kansas, 0-5 all-time at Arizona State. Would have never imagined that that was a real thing at all.
I think that's only his second ejection ever, too.
Ever?
I think.
You got to get ejected 3-4 times a year. If you really want it, you got to get tossed.
Get the juices flowing?
Yeah, just to send a message.
Send a message. I'll show them riffs.
I mean, how many times did Bobby Cox get ejected?
Don't know, don't care. Didn't work very much. I know that. We'll talk life skills next on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 9 o'clock, hour number 3 underway. Some sad news in the world of college sports that we need to get to. Not sure how many of you saw this yesterday. I would imagine Greg did not, with his lack of social media prowess. A graphic was released yesterday for Levi Tonka Rodriguez, class of 2036. Actually, probably should have asked Drew Butler about him. He is an offensive lineman, middle linebacker, defensive lineman, and kicker.
Heck yeah.
Versatility. Kind of like Dare Smith we talked about yesterday at Missouri.
I mean, Shohei's getting paid premium for being a position player, a designated hitter, and a pitcher.
If you'd like to find Tonka on Instagram, it's at Tonka_24. 4'2", That is not his birthday. That is his height and weight.
How old?
The title of the graphic is Transfer Portal.
And he's 7?
I don't know the exact age, but I do know
Said 2036, right?
that is his class of
Yeah, so
grade.
it'd be Vince's
he's in
class of
second grade.
2037. He just turned 7. So I'm guessing this kid
He's
is
7 or 8.
Yeah.
First, a huge thank you to the Cowboys with a K organization for being great to me and my family. With that said, I'm officially hitting the portal for the 2026 fall season. Looking for the right fit, good coaching, development, meaningful reps, and most importantly, a team that I can compete for a championship.
What championship? Pee Wee Pop Born?
Now, I will say this. I'm a little concerned that his name is Levi Tonka Rodriguez. Cowboys with the K. It appears they have the little blue checkerboard on the sleeves, and he's number 24. Is this Chris Rodriguez's kid? There's just a lot of pieces that are fitting together there.
How old is Chris Rodriguez?
He finished at Kentucky, what, like 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, at most.
I think it's feasible.
Definitely possible.
He's 26.
Levi. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Tonka _ 24. Can't believe I'm going to it. Not Tomka. Definitely not. But we've got graphics for he's got 4,300 followers. Not good. We're doing one-on-ones at 8.
I mean, what, is that not normal?
No,
How are you supposed to develop your pass rush skills
I don't know.
and bull rushing?
There's so many people tagged in these pictures. These uniforms are horrific. By the way, he's got.
First of all,
He got invited to the 9th annual Coach Mack National Youth All-American Bowl.
Okay.
I have a friend whose son does like the travel 7-on-7, and he's a little bit younger.
yeah.
And he said this is completely normal, not for his kids, but the whole like announcing that you're going to transfer and go play for somebody else
Yeah.
at 8, 9, 10 is normal.
They can't even spell transfer.
But
To which
explain
I
to me,
responded, no, it isn't.
when do you start tackle football?
3rd grade.
3rd grade.
Yeah, trust me, that's a heavy debate in our house right now.
They better be playing. Or else I'm going to tackle you into the
We'll
wall.
talk later.
Arr. They get the egg crates. It's safe.
Why would no
Tonka's
one-
got one.
That's when Georgia lost their edge, though, Greg.
Yeah,
When they-
exactly.
When they put the
That was it.
crates on.
Why would no one not want this kid? He's a 4-time MVP and a national flag champion.
At D-line / middle linebacker.
Most valuable person?
I assume that's what the P stands for. Punter, possibly.
No,
Maybe.
no,
Maybe.
But
maybe.
4 times
Mm-hmm.
at 7 years old.
Let's go.
Maybe 8.
He's a prodigy.
Look at these rings. He's young Nick Saban.
Love that.
There's a picture of him with Cam Newton.
Greg.
I feel like you could just go to the mall and get that.
You would think, but
What a
it's
Magic
here
City
on the
Classic.
gram.
Oh, the back of their jersey say certified, so you know they're good.
Heck yeah.
That's
What
kinda
more you
gangster.
need?
This is
Or
gross.
just so they don't have to get different jerseys the next year.
like they're going to need a growth spurt.
He plays for Coach Cornbread. Or I guess did. Sorry, he's out. Heading over to Coach
Is that
Biscuit.
a nickname or is that a real last name? Because that's a real last name. That's fire.
Going to Coach Biscuit next.
If my last name was Cornbread, I'd be fired up about that.
Coach Cornbread has 1,024 followers. God Family Football ADA lineman coach, 10U.
ADA?
The F out of here.
What university is called 10?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it TIN, like 10U?
10U. But he's I mean Tonka's got room to grow. He's only 4'2", 85 pounds.
I don't even know. I couldn't tell you what my kids weigh.
85's
I have no
big.
idea. Well, yeah, I can tell he's big.
85's big.
Greg, he's a defensive lineman and kicker. Of course he's big.
And middle linebacker and offensive line. So he's playing 1A ball. He's all over the place. Real football down there.
He's playing 1A ball. What are we doing?
I mean, I get it. I know it sounds crazy.
What does ANA certified mean?
I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. You owe lineman
Thank
your
you,
certifications.
RNR Top 100 for another great opportunity.
Top 100.
There's probably 115 kids there.
Look, people are going to try to make money.
Hold
and
on, he's got a
exploit.
3-star
I get
rating.
it.
By who?
I don't know. Whatever he made the graphic with the palm trees.
Well, if it ain't PFF, I ain't listening. Look how many stars.
ADMT 1 certified baller.
That's a lot.
Oh, okay. Official selection invite. Dear R&R Top 100 athlete, congrats. We're excited to present you with your official selection invitation to the 2026 R&R Top 100 Super Showcase Games.
Okay.
Cute kid, honestly, looking at the pictures.
Class of 2036.
I mean, it's a cute kid. It's like, this kid's probably awesome.
Just hate it.
I'm disappointed with where we're going. Nothing to do with the kid. It's part of the culture. It's really more so that where we're at.
How about the naughty chain?
Let's
in the
go.
Santa
That's
outfit?
great.
Let's
It's a
go.
cute kid. That was the picture that prompted the cute kid. Like
Oh, with the elf ears on the helmet?
I love it. Absolutely love it.
That's dumb.
It doesn't bother me.
It all bothers
If
me.
your
Every
idols,
bit of it.
if you're looking up to, let's just say LeBron James. All right, let's just use him because I think in this modern generation, maybe even he's on the back end, of course, but really is like, how many teams has he played for? He's bouncing around, chasing the super team, bouncing around.
By the way, LeBron hasn't even been on a good team for about 8 years.
I understand.
Much
No,
less super team.
he won a title during COVID. Don't forget that. That was an important title.
Cool. In front of digital fans.
Don't act like you didn't pay $5 to be seen in the background of the finals.
Missed out on that opportunity.
Yes. Beside the point, though, like if your heroes are going from team to team to team to team to team, and then your college guys that you look up to are going from team to team to team to team to team, and there's no loyalty, why would you not? I don't have any problem with it. My problem is more with the professionals that move on from place to place. How many different places has James Harden played?
All.
Houston,
All.
Brooklyn,
How many different places
Los
has Kevin
Angeles.
Durant played?
Golden
Most.
State, OKC.
You forgot
Brooklyn,
Seattle.
Phoenix.
Most.
Oh, yeah, Seattle.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't his.
Arizona
that wasn't
State,
his decision.
Texas.
I mean, you really look at it like if your heroes are going from place to place, like why would you as an 8-year-old not? I mean, honestly, Vince's favorite team changes every day.
Well, that's
Every
cool.
day.
That doesn't mean he quits on his teammates every day.
Not saying he does. I'm just suggesting that like his favorite team changes every day. Like,
Well, maybe some of the kids should start rooting for teams instead of rooting for individuals.
well, at some point you're gonna realize that like the loyalty, if the people in front of you are not loyal, then why would you be loyal? It's just the kind of the way it goes. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's not this kid's fault.
It's definitely not the kid's fault that these stupid graphics are out everywhere.
No.
Well,
'Cause he's
no.
not making those.
How do you know? AI.
It's taking over.
I
taking
don't.
over.
My thing is always going to be, look, right now, kids know nothing from nothing. They know nothing. They are a blank slate when they come out of the womb. They know nothing. If a 2-year-old right now can't do anything, doesn't know anything, and 2 years ago when she was born, knew nothing, absolutely nothing. It is the parents. And what I always go back to,
But there's no part of you that can be okay with the gold chains and certified on the back of the jersey.
is he buying the gold chain?
No, I'm not pointing the finger at the kid, but I'm just saying like you can't be okay with all the extra junk happening here.
I'm not, but it's where we're at. Like, if you go out and tell everybody how good you are, people think you're good. If you go out and bounce around all the time and hey, respect my decision, do not contact me, like because you want likes and you get an adrenaline rush when you put out a new graphic on social media, and you get that dopamine when you see the likes go up. Like, people get a dopamine off that. I think it's insane. Like, we're out of reality, but it's insane.
I will say the top center performer at this camp was Steel Ganguza.
Heck
I'd
yeah.
sign him today.
All day.
All name team.
One of the top quarterbacks was Honor Weekly.
That's his name?
Mhm.
Okay. It's different.
I'm for it.
There's just so
Did you
many
make
things.
the honor roll? Weekly.
There's so many things Like, and the other thing that always blows my mind about this stuff is like, okay, you can be a great youth sports athlete. That's awesome. But guess what? Like at this point, some kids are 6 months older than other kids. And 6 months in a 7-year-old's life is significant when it comes to size, speed, coordination, what have you. Like all that, like you don't know who's good until they're 14. You literally don't. Like, you can make a few calculated guesses, but the reality is genetics win. I know that's like a crazy backwards thing to say because everybody thinks, oh, well, if we just get him a coach, we just get this guy a hitting coach, he's going to go with the league. No, genetics win. I was having this conversation with a buddy yesterday about golf. And he goes, you know what I just think's unfair right now is like the guys that hit it 260 down the middle, they can't win anymore in today's day and age. Like, that's really unfortunate. And I'm like, no. Guess what? Welcome to sports, golf. Like, welcome to sports. The guy that thrived on hitting CNI singles in baseball no longer exists. Why? Because horsepower, size, strength,
exit velo,
ground force reactions. Guess what?
By the way, I'm going on a limb here and tell you somebody give you a CNI single 4 out of 10 times, you're going to have a job for a while.
I agree. Yep. Welcome to the jungle, Ichiro, who's like the GOAT. The GOAT of CNI singles.
We will take it.
Right? Slap hitting.
Just get on base, baby.
I hear you. But like what's amazing to me is that like the traditionalist golfers are like, oh, you know, I hate to see raw power take over the sport I love so much, and it's just seeing the playing field level because, you know, in this course, a guy that hits at 260 but is accurate can keep up with the bombers that hit at 330. Well, no. Like, guess what? Golf is now in a state of evolution, just like every other sport underwent in the last 40 years.
But would you
the
not
bigger,
say that
stronger, faster guys are getting an advantage.
But if then your middle irons were better than everybody else's, could you not make that up?
Precision still matters in golf. There's no denying that. And yes, once in a blue moon, a guy that hits at 250 can compete against the best players in the world. There's a reason why Zach Johnson has 2 majors. Like, the guy's unbelievable. But guess what? Bigger, stronger, faster wins. Bigger, stronger, faster wins. And to me, what's amazing. Tell that to the kickers,
Greg.
Huh?
Tell that to the kickers.
Right.
They would disagree with you.
Look at the kickers.
And they're about to start getting 4 points for 60-yarders.
Look at the kickers nowadays.
They don't look like Janikowski.
No, they might not look like Janikowski because they don't smoke 2 packs a day. But 3 packs a day. All right. But like, the reality is sports is a dog-eat-dog survival of the fittest. And guess what often survives in the jungle? Strongest, fastest, agility, strength, fierceness, all this other stuff.
Poison,
whatever. Poison. Don't eat the wrong berry in the jungle. All right, whatever.
More like pit viper, but hey, that too.
That too. Berries win at the end of the day.
Basically, go find your own cream and clear is what we're saying.
Well, I guess it just what I'm amazed by is like we're 9 years old. I mean, talking to guys yesterday, it's like, I mean, well, he's got a 3rd grader. He's in Vestavia. He's 3rd grader. He's playing with the 2nd graders. I was like, what? What?
Good.
Huh? It's like, how? Well, it's his age. I'm like, all right, I'm good with that. I can live with that. But what I have a hard time with is when the guy should be in 4th grade, but he's playing with 3rd graders. That to me, I don't understand because
fun.
And what we're trying to get at is like
it's
we're
like
drawing
me when I
all
play
these
with my son's kids in the backyard in the driveway. And I dunk on them.
We're drawing all these conclusions.
They can't post me up.
We're drawing all these conclusions about kids in youth sports at 9.
Right.
When in reality, you don't know jack until you're 14. When you hit puberty, and in some cases, like me, late bloomer, 15 years old, maybe. I might have been 16, 17 before I ever even had to shave a whisker off the side of my face. I think I started shaving my senior year.
But these guys aren't drawing conclusions. They're drawing graphics on how good their kid is.
But that's the thing. It's like, we don't know who's going to be good.
No.
Like, and so what
These
you're
graphics
doing
tell me they
already is you're planting this false seed in a 9-year. I'm not saying you shouldn't say, hey, chase your dreams, young man. Like, go and get it. Like, I want you to. But like, planting a seed is going to set them up at 15 when the world catches up with them. And all of a sudden you are no longer in demand. You're going to think, well, I had it at 9. Why don't I have it now? Like, that's a tough thing for a high school kid, I think, to deal with.
It's fair. And I
Like,
actually,
that's my biggest fear, more than the transferring and stuff, is that you think now because at 9 you're dominant, that you're going to remain dominant. That is highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. Just playing the odds.
I agree 1,000%. And I actually appreciate your point on what kids are looking at, paying attention to, watching, because there are some similarities there.
For sure.
And even if you go down to the college ranks, well, so-and-so is making all these graphics about the 77,000 offers that he has and where he might go, and he's going to transfer, and he's not loyal to his team. So it's all unfortunate, man.
It is.
That part of it, not all of it, not all of youth sports, but those parts of it are just, I just hate it. I do. I hate it for kids who are being treated like that. Because like you said, it's going to be hard enough to keep up with if you are good now, to either one, continue to get better, to find that desire to want that, because you're going to have that too. You're going to have to want to get better. You don't have to have it all now, but as you get older, like you said, and other people physically catch up or pass you, you better want the ability to go out there and hit, or go out there and catch, or go out there and throw, or go out there and run, or go out there and do whatever it takes to be better, shoot, dribble, the whole deal, whatever.
Yeah.
And some of these kids just flat out aren't going to want to do that.
Nah.
Also, at 8, 9 years old, I just want to go out there and have fun. Like, I just want to play.
Go be a kid.
Exactly.
Like when you start incorporating transfers and making, quote, business decisions at 9, 10, 15.
Right.
15 years old, 16 years old, you're making business decisions. You're taking the fun out of it, man. Like
100%.
Nobody wants, like, I want to play with my friends. Like what was your favorite time playing football?
Honestly, my favorite time, I mean, some of the games were incredible, but when you look back on it now, the greatest time I ever had in my football involvement were locker rooms, film room, probably after games, in hotel night before games, bus rides home from wins, especially in high school. Those bus rides home from wins when you played kind of far away, like those were the absolute best, man. Like you're on a friggin' school bus and you just want a playoff game on the road that nobody thought you could win. Like that, life doesn't get a whole lot better than that, especially at that point. Those are the absolute best times ever. And like you said, they mean more and they're more fun because you played T-ball with a lot of those kids. You played rec league basketball with a lot of those kids.
Correct.
Y'all played backyard football and tackled each other on sidewalks. You played wiffle ball with those kids. Like, you played dodgeball in the gym growing up with those kids. Like, that's what was cool about it.
That was the best part.
You knew their parents. Their parents knew you. Like, man, that was...
You have history.
100%. Yeah.
Like my favorite time ever playing sports was high school. Always. Because guess what? We were on the South Lake Mad Cats, our, quote, travel baseball team. And guess what? You fast forward to baseball 8 years later, and it's like third base, shortstop, catcher, 2 of the 5 pitchers, and right fielder were all in the Mad. Like, we played together forever. You look at the varsity football team. We had 65 seniors on our varsity football team. We had 125 guys overall. Like, it was massive. Our high school was big. And guess what? Every single one of those 65 seniors started playing for the Dragons when they were in 3rd grade. And they started playing, and then in 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade, we all go to Dawson Middle School or Carroll Middle School. And it was a huge rivalry, and we hated the junior hires or the Dawson kids, and they hated us. And it was, and then we got to high school. It's like, oh, I don't want to play with those guys. And then you become best friends. And it's like, and you play together all the way throughout. Like, but if it was like, if my dad was coming to me after my sophomore year, it's like, hey, dude, you're still on JV. You want to go to Fossil Ridge? Like, I would have been like, no, I want to be with my friends. We've been playing and chasing this dream together forever, and now it's going away. So I just don't like the business getting involved too soon.
Exactly.
It's going to be there. Like, if you're good enough, you're going to have to make some business decisions.
Right.
God willing, you're talented enough to go to the show. You're talented enough to go play Division I, Division II, Division III football. You're talented enough to go play at the next level. That's awesome. Congratulations, man. You are the 1%. That is amazing. But guess what? When you get up there, it gets harder. It's less fun. playing at Alabama was one of the most gratifying experiences of my life, one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. Won a championship, changed my life forever, developed incredible relationships, kind of learned who I was as a person, like learned some convictions about how I want to approach life and parenting and being a dad and being a professional and doing all those things. That was amazing. It was not the most fun time. It was one of the hardest. It was so hard, but it was so gratifying. But the most fun was high school, man. I just hate that we're accelerating that business-like approach, man. It's such a bummer.
It is. It's unfortunate. And you brought up like high school teammates, and I started thinking back. I was injured. I did not play in the game, but we won the state championship my senior year in high school. And I was mentally going through the laundry list of guys like Bert Newton, Jason Whidden, Brian Blazik, Mike Warren, John Stewart Jackson, Jamel Manis, all these guys. We played Little League baseball together at West Homewood Park. And if I sat here and thought about it longer, I could find more of them. And we did that every summer. We did that growing up. And then we did that in middle school football. And we did that all through high school football, not to mention the countless games in the park of pickup football, tackle football at Shades Cahaba on Saturday mornings. That was our deal. We would all go meet over there. We'd play tackle football, wiffle ball that we played, pickup basketball in people's backyards, whatever that was. Decades. And like Coach Newton, my high school football coach, he coached me in like 7, 8-year-old Little League baseball. He was yelling at me then about what an idiot I was, like trying to get me in line and make me a better person then. Like Brian Blazik, who was our quarterback, his dad was my Little League baseball coach one year.
Yeah.
EJ and Tim Vakakis, their dad's Tim's coaching high school ball now here in the state. His dad was a longtime high school football coach in the state. Like he coached me in T-ball.
Yep.
Was yelling at me to not be a moron then. Like those other parents who were also coaches growing up, like they raised me as well, not just their kids, but those parents helped raise me. And that's what you're talking about too, all that goes into it. To just throw that away
It's just
immediately.
gone.
Mm-hmm.
To say,
Gone.
we don't need any of that.
No.
We're going to go across town where they're good.
Yes.
And it's like, man, you see like the Dylan Raiola stuff. I'm not just pointing a finger at him, but it's the only one that comes to mind. Can you imagine walking into a new high school
Every year.
and you're the starting quarterback? Because I'm going to tell you how we would have taken that. Like I used Brian Blazik, who was our start. Michael Witten was a starting quarterback when we lost in the state championship game my junior year. If you'd have walked in and thought you just taken our guy's job, that wouldn't have gone over very well. I don't care how talented you were. Like I said, Lex Blazik coached me in 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old youth baseball. Taught me how to catch. Taught me how to catch when we started playing like kid pitch.
Didn't teach you very well.
Because his kid could pitch, and I'd go to he built a mound in his backyard. I mean, it was ghetto. But he made a mound, and I'd go over there and catch. He taught
Was
me
it
how
with
to
real
catch.
dirt?
Yes, he did it himself.
That's
He
amazing.
did it himself.
Was there a hole right next to where the mound was?
Would be amazing if there was. I think he probably stole the rubber from the park too and like put it up there.
I love that.
And like I'd go over there and learn how to catch. And you're telling me somebody would have rolled into our town, quote unquote, knowing they were the starting quarterback over
Right.
that guy
No.
that I grew up with and played middle school ball with and played middle school baseball with and had already played freshman and JV baseball with and freshman football with? You're kidding yourself, man. That would not have gone over well for us. And it's unfortunate that some of that's going away. 800-239-9569. Tweet in at Mac and Cube. Back with more next. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys tuning in. 800-239-9569 if you want to get in. 800-239-WJOX. We'll open up the phones for you guys to be a part of the show now. Before we do that, I'll tell you about Game Day Men's Health. If you're lacking energy, feeling on edge, maybe just need to lose a little bit of weight, Game Day Men's Health can help you. Spring is here. Summer right around the corner. Let Game Day Men's Health help you get back to the physique that you're looking for. Holistic approach to health and wellness. Minimal upfront costs from the programs they offer. Great staff that just wants to help you, not going to press you in anything that you don't need. Also, mention Mac and Cube, save 10% on any service that they offer. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now. Sign up for the free consultation. You get the free PSA test, free testosterone test that give you your baseline health, let you know what they can do for you. Then you make that decision. GameDayMen'sHealth.com. It's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Sign up for the free consultation today. Golden Domer would like to chime in on the Higginbotham hotline. Domer, welcome into the show.
Top of the morning, gentlemen. How are y'all?
Doing
What's up,
great,
Domer?
thank you.
Now, look, I'll be honest with you. I love this topic today, and I think y'all are bringing up a lot of really good points, and this really hits in my wheelhouse. I've got 4 daughters, and I've been coaching multiple sports now for, I guess it's been about 20 years. I guess I'm getting kind of old. So I will say, you know, a lot of what y'all talked about, moving teams around, that's definitely a negative. It's not something that I, you know, like, and you do see that getting more and more. But I will say, there's a lot of positives to the current landscape of youth sports as well now too. I believe the skill development has gone up. I think the opportunities have gone up. There's no denying in skill sports, especially the golfs, the basketballs, the baseballs. There's a scientific, you know, data that shows at a certain age, if you develop certain skills by 10, it's a lot easier to learn those skills and develop them if you waited until you're older. For instance, jump shots in basketball. If you have not developed a somewhat decent, good fundamentals by the age of 12, it's very difficult to get those brain receptors to go and get that correct jump shot. Dribbling with your left hand, it's really good to get those in at the earliest age as possible. A good bat swing, and a lot of those things that it's great to develop those skills younger. But I agree with what y'all are saying. It has gotten to the point where, and I made this mistake, my oldest daughter, at times I felt like we were raising a professional athlete and we weren't raising a child anymore. And so you can get sucked up in the current landscape very easily and lose out on a lot of like the things y'all talked about. Us growing up and playing in our communities and playing for the same people, and it's a fine balance, and I'm continuously learning. But like I said, I've coached track and field, got kids going to the Junior Olympics, and I actually own and run a AAU basketball organization. And there's tons of opportunities that kids have these days that we did not have, and there's no denying it, that kids are more skilled now than I think they ever have been. And, Greg, I do agree with some of what you're saying, bigger, stronger, faster. But I will say in today's day and age, in the skilled world, as much as I hate to say it, these kids that are taking it more serious when they're younger, they will have a dramatic advantage over the kids that don't do it until they get bigger, stronger, faster.
No, I think that's 100% fair. But the reality is those kids will eventually get bigger, stronger, faster, and they will have an advantage. You might have an advantage in skill. It doesn't matter. If I'm 5'9", we're not having this conversation right now. It's just the reality.
Yeah.
I'm not playing at Alabama. It's just not. It's not. I wish it wasn't that way, but it's the truth. I mean, I
agree with that.
I don't know. It's just there are certain factors, and that's what I mean. Is like we can go all in right now at 8, 9, 7, 6, 5, 12, but you really don't know until you're 14. That's at the end of the day, you really don't know. So I think just give the kids the foundation. Let them learn and play everything and see what they're good at and see what you might want to limit it to. Maybe you go to 2 sports, Perfect World 3 in high school or whenever that day comes, but give them the foundation now and then hone in as you get a little bit older because you really don't know what they're going to be good at. You might have a kid right now that's incredible at baseball, but at 14, it's like his real passion's tennis. It's like, whoa, all right, let's go. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of cool.
One thing that's an epidemic right now, and I think you're hitting on it, is the specializing in a sport. I'm a huge believer in playing multiple sports. And exactly, I'll give you an example. My 13-year-old daughter, you know, I was a big basketball guy, and she's been basketball. Well, the last 2 years, she's picked up a golf club, and she's 5 times better at golf than she is at basketball. And so you're exactly right. I mean, you do not really know what.
You don't know.
And the biggest thing I'll say more than anything, I learned this with my older daughter, it doesn't matter what club you put them on. It doesn't matter how amazing their skills are. At the end of the day, if they don't love it, they will not make it. I mean, they will not make it if they don't love it. So it does not matter how amazing their skills are, what club they've been on. By the time they get 16, 17, 18 years old, if they're burned out and they're not hungry anymore, they will be done. My oldest daughter is an amazing runner, long-distance runner. She got burned out, and now she's turning down, $80,000 scholarships to run in college, and instead is wanting to play basketball and not getting the same kind of scholarship. So it's a very, very fine line and very balanced. And in some ways, our current landscape is great, and it's creating, very skilled athletes. But I do agree with what you're saying. We're missing out on that community bond. We're missing out on a lot of those memories from playing with our friends that we go to school with. And I don't know what the answer is to that because I don't think it's coming back. I don't. I think
it's not coming back.
Yeah,
well, I think you got to get more people that just have that mindset that we've been talking about, Domer, that are saying, "Hey, there could be some cool opportunities out there, but we're gonna keep doing it this way." And it's unfortunate that there's not a lot of that out there right now, and maybe less moving forward. But I think that's where community has to be strong, develop those relationships early, continue to have fun trying to do it. Listen, I'm not doing this right. I'm not doing this perfect. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes with my kids in sports along the way.
No doubt.
I'm doing my best to make it fun for them. One of my rules with mine is whatever they want to do, as long as they want to do it, we will do it. And I'm going to tell you, my 5-year-old will push that to the limit. He will hit baseballs until his hands bleed. And I'll say, are you done? Do you want to keep going? Yes. And we keep going. Now, my 8-year-old, he'll shoot basketball for 5 minutes. Then he wants to hit little foam golf balls in the backyard. Then he wants to throw football for 2 minutes. And then he wants to go ride bikes with his friends. And I'm like, go do it. So
a potpourri of afternoon activities.
There's no right way to do it in my house because I hadn't done it yet. And I'm still doing it. But
there is no right answer. That's the other thing I found, too. Every kid is different. Yeah. Like that, you can have a methodology about how to raise young athletes and whatnot. And what works for your daughter at 14 might be different than what works for your son at 10, which might not work for your second son at 6.
That is 1,000%
It's
accurate.
unbelievable. That's the most amazing thing about it all is you think you have it all figured out and then you throw them out there. Like last week, we're playing Little League Baseball on Saturday. I thought I had it all figured out. It's we got our players here. This is how it's all going to work out. And I mean, we could not have been more disastrous. It was a disaster. I mean, throwing it over kids' heads, running the wrong direction on the base pass. It's oh my gosh, I totally took for granted what I didn't know. You know what I mean? You just don't know. You never know.
One of the most valuable things that my wife said when we were in the middle of baseball with our kids, this was last year. And a similar game that one of my boys was on happened that way. And it was on a Saturday morning. It was kind of early. And we were just talking about it randomly with some other parents. And she's like, you don't know how these kids slept last night. You don't know how much of their breakfast they truly ate this morning. And I'm sitting there thinking, that is the most honest thing that I've ever heard in my life.
No doubt.
These kids could have been up playing with Legos and you didn't know about it and or woke up at 5 a.m. and started looking at baseball cards or, playing with Transformers and had 3 hours of sleep and they can't function like that.
Yep.
You don't know what's affecting kids at that age.
That's why
they're on their best and when they're not.
That's why we're bringing the smelling salts out this week in the dugout.
We'll get them right.
Hey,
I will say one of my jobs that I consistently have is the PEDs for our kids.
Oh, that's good.
I have Skittles and Gummy Nerds every game.
Let's lock in
every game.
Also known as the 8U version of smelling salts.
Hey, it gets them going. Problem you run into is that there's a certain kids literally between every pitch or every at bat. Can I have more Skittles?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, that's the beginning of the game.
Right.
And then if we need a little bit of a rally, we get some more Skittles.
Yeah.
You hit a home run, you make a great play in the field, I'll probably give you some more. That's a good job.
Yep.
But it's we're not a nonstop vending machine.
I love that it's a quid pro quo on Cole's team. Hey, you get a good hit, here's a gummy bear, son.
Let's go.
You hit a home run, there's 2 Skittles.
That's it. Listen, it's we have a reward system going.
I love that.
That somebody's got to do it.
Hey, whatever works.
That's it. And like you said, you never know what's going to work with
You
them.
never know.
You just don't know.
No clue.
Don, stay on hold. Other guys trying to get in, 800-239-9569. Tweet in at Mac and Cube. More that we want to discuss there. First, I'll tell you about Gusty Goulis and the Gusty Goulis Group. If you're looking to get into a new home in Central Alabama, it has to be the Gusty Goulis Group. Speaking of which, I was pitching to Max, his boy, the other day. He was ripping in the batting cages at a birthday party we were at. Over 850 5-star Google reviews. 205-542-1996. You want to get in touch with the Gusty Goulis Group today, they can help you. They've served more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the greater Birmingham area. Since 2012, Gusty Goulis Group recognized both nationally and locally as greater Birmingham, Alabama's #1 team in homes sold. They invest thousands of dollars in the latest tools to be ready to sell your home and to know what homes are coming available. So call Gusty Goulis Group today, 205-542-1996, or visit gustygoulisgroup.com and start packing. Back with more right after this. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, 9:43, Wednesday, March the 4th, right here on Jocks. Let's go to Don in Homewood. He's been patient on the Higginbotham hotline. Welcome in, Don.
Hey, good morning, guys. Man, y'all are bringing up good memories about when I was a kid. And Cole, I know I went to Homewood myself, too. But growing up, my dad really got me involved in baseball. and everything. And when you brought up the pitcher's mound in somebody's backyard, my dad did the same thing for me in our backyard on Broadway.
Love it.
And he did it at we had enough room in our backyard to make it the length of what you pitched at in like Joy League and West Homewood. But I mean, I grew up with baseball, and then you're right. You did whatever your friends in school did, whatever sport they wanted to play. And baseball was and one of my friends that his dad was a commissioner of Joy League in the 70s, and Ted Cook, and his yard was big enough for us to actually, when we're 8 years old, to practice in his backyard.
Yeah, it's I never did Joy League because of the uniforms, but it is great what they do and how they do it now specifically, and kind of the mindset that they carry into it. I think it's awesome. But when you had the uniform that was Cubs with like the Vote for Pedro CUBS across the front of the shirt, I was like, I ain't doing that. Sorry.
Well, we had back in my day, we had the Bucks cards, Yanks, and Sox. It was basically a T-shirt with the Bucks.
Yep.
I played for the
Iron
Bucks.
on.
It was basically a T-shirt.
That's it.
But back then, though, and you'll appreciate this, guys. My dad was so serious about baseball with me. West Homewood didn't have all the age groups code. When you got to be 13, they didn't have a 13 and 14 year league, so you had to go back to Joy League and play at Edgewood School. And as a 13-year-old, you only had to hit the ball about 150 feet to hit a home run, and that just wasn't true baseball. Now, has your
Live ball
younger
era.
kids, did they ever try to play Joy League at all?
No, it was an option. We did West Homewood, but yes, it's still there. And like I said, I love the way that they do it and manage it, because for a lot of kids, it's perfect for them with how they do it.
Yeah, and actually, Cole, they start playing the Joy League now at 4 years old.
It's an early start.
And then the older kids now, they go up and play at the Homewood Middle School baseball field.
Oh, got it. Perfect. Because there is no middle school baseball team, which is a whole different discussion that I'm not ready to have today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Don.
No, man. Hey, thanks.
Appreciate the call. Tell our listeners about Polar Bear Services, Greg.
Well, Polar Bear Services has been my go-to for a while. Wes and the guys do an amazing job when they come out to the house. They can do so many things for you. That's what I love about it. Anything goes wrong, I call them immediately. They come over and they get things taken care of. They can help you with your plumbing. They can help you with electrical. They also do a great job in your HVAC system as well. And right now, as the storm season is coming over the next couple months, might be time to think about a whole home generator. They do installs on those whole home generators. That's a great luxury to have in the event in which you lose power. So go and check them out. And remember, if you have a problem with your electrical, plumbing, heat, or air, just pick up the phone and call the Bear. It's 205-497-BEAR. It's 497-BEAR.
All right, get to a break. Come back. Bad box score of the day next right here on Jocks. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Appreciate you guys being a part of the show. 800-239-9569. 800-239-WJOX. A lot of folks have Jolly tweets in golf is a sport.
Cole's mad.
Caleb White tweets in, Cole, if you think 8U football player hitting the portal is crazy, you should see how ridiculous AAU basketball is. We also have high school kids moving to Georgia to make NIL for high schoolers. We haven't talked about this new law in Mississippi, Greg, that's just been passed. Not for high schoolers, but just in general.
Tax-free. Insane.
I mean, listen, if you want to give your team, you could make the argument that the better the teams are, the more revenue it generates for the state, the more people are coming to see you, the more people are paying attention.
It makes sense. It's crazy.
I don't know about dollars and cents, but
I get it.
I mean, that's actually your money you're giving up.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's an advantage.
It is definitely an advantage.
I get it.
You will probably sacrifice some of that for that. So to an extent, you could see it, but I do think it kind of goes along with a little bit of some of the things that we've been talking about, just of the ridiculousness that is happening around a lot of this. When injuries take you out of the game, trust the sports medicine team that's been relied on to keep the Auburn Tigers, the Alabama Crimson Tide, and professional athletes nationwide competing at the highest level. I've been a patient at Andrews Sports Medicine for decades. When I played at Auburn, Dr. James Andrews took care of me, and to this day, Andrews Sports Medicine is the only place I trust for my family and friends. Andrews Sports Medicine's team of physicians deliver elite care for acute and overuse injuries and those nagging chronic orthopedic issues, bringing that same championship-level expertise to athletes and families across Alabama. Injured, skip the ER and urgent care. Go directly to the team of experts at Andrews Sports Medicine. Get back to your sport activity or passion. Schedule your appointment today at andrewsportsmedicine.com. Let's get to our bad box scores of the day. The Muskegon Community College.
They're the Mustangs.
JUCO women's basketball, by the way.
Mounties.
I'm going to say the Mountaineers.
They're the Jayhawks. They fall to 11-13 on the season to the College at Bay College.
Bumblebees.
No.
They are they're the Braves.
Cadets.
They're the Knights. I do feel like JUCO, a lot of fallback Knights mascots.
Really? Yeah. All right, keep that in mind.
Take a lot of night classes.
Yes.
It's right there.
The Jayhawks go down 100-45 in this game. Ooh. It was 25-11 after one.
Ouch.
It was 57-19 at the half.
Wow.
Muskegon Community College shot 54 times in the game.
And they made?
15. They did put up 18 threes.
Okay, there we go.
They made at least one.
That was the extent of their damage from behind the three-point line.
One for 18.
5.6 per. By the way, those 39 misses for the game, they had 6 offensive rebounds.
Well, how many rebounds total?
35, actually.
Okay.
They were out-rebounded 62-35.
Wow. Okay.
Bay College shot 41 of 96.
Can't stop them.
Mackenzie Hoffmeyer, 9 of 16. Lauren Zawada, 9 of 18. They were just 7-27 from 3.
Okay.
Now, the 24 turnovers may have gotten in the way there for Muskegon
okay.
College.
You don't say.
A little bit of a problem.
Gotcha.
Bristol Community College,
they're the Braves.
They're not.
The ESPNs.
They're the Eagles.
Bunkers.
They went down to the Community College of Rhode Island.
Clams.
We'll say the Knights.
There you go.
Boom.
Wow.
Got them.
Go to.
Now, their mascot is a green knight as opposed to a blue knight previously. But, hey, a knight's a knight, if you ask me. 97-33, your final.
Whoa.
Okay.
20,
from 100.
27-12 after one. I don't think that was not self-induced. 14 of 55 from the floor was Bristol Community College. They did put up 7 threes.
They made at least one.
They did. Just that. One.
Gotcha.
Also,
terrible.
4 of 8 from the free throw line.
Okay. Not great there.
Now,
you could go 50%.
14 of 55 was that 41 misses in the game. That's 11 offensive rebounds on 41 misses. Not the best that
not
we've
great.
seen. 42
just
of
some
70
bad
from the
bounces.
floor. That's it. That was all there was.
They were in the right position. The ball just bounced away from them.
Couple bad hops, and next thing you know, you lose by 62.
That's the way it goes.
It just compounded.
They were just on the wrong side of a couple hops.
Sometimes that's the way it happens.
Yep.
Now, you guys probably weren't even aware that this was a thing. Prince George's Community College.
They are also the Knights.
They're not.
The Royals.
It makes sense, actually.
it's
Either of those
right
would make
there.
perfect sense.
They're the
Yes.
studs.
No, they're actually
for
the
Talbot.
Owls.
Who?
They go to 10 and you didn't just do that.
My fault.
I get it.
They go to 10-16 on the season as they go down to the CCBC Essex.
The Crew.
I want to know what their cheer is on the sideline.
CCBSE, CCSX.
CCBC.
No, they're the Cougars.
I'm going to stay with it Knights.
There you go.
Yeah.
Again.
This is insane.
Wow.
Again.
See?
Okay.
Now, there's not a color knight. It does have a yellow feather off the top of
So
the
yellow Knights. We have green Knights, yellow Knights, blue Knights.
Hey, well, Yellow Knights go to 24-3, 14-0 in conference play with an 87-38 win.
Let's go.
And they only put up 14 in the first, 23, 24, 26 after that.
Great
Prince
start.
George, however, not a very good shooting night, 14 of 71 from the floor. That's
Wow.
sub 20%, by the
That's
way.
not
But
great.
they were putting them up, though. I give
Yeah,
them
put up
credit.
23s.
And they made
3.
Ugh.
okay. There's more than one.
They did turn it over 35 times
That's what
in
got
the
it.
game.
That's
yeah,
tough. That'll get you got.
CCBC Essex shot 36 of 83 from the floor.
Okay.
Out rebounded them only 44-43, by the way.
Okay. So the hustle, that is the definition of a cold shooting night.
All hustle.
Yeah.
Damien, they lost 87-38. I feel like there's a few more things going wrong than the hustle right
Didn't
there.
Andre tell us was cooler than cold? Ice cold? That's what
Yeah,
they
they
were.
just went cold. But they were hustling.
Also, Lewis and Clark Community College, in search of a win, did not find it. They go down to Illinois Central 104-47.
Lewis and Clark, they got to be the Jets
The Jets?
No, the Explorers. Come on
or
now.
the Planes.
The
Travelers.
It's a dog mascot.
What?
Looks like a retriever of some sort.
Yeah.
Illinois Central, the Cougars.
Yeah, they are.
Ah.
We're back tomorrow. 3-man front is next.